Hey traders, my morning video. Okay, guys. So some things we got going on here in the markets. What a day there, Christmas Eve. Very light volume. Everybody came in on the bullish side of the market, squeezed us higher. It was an amazing session. Okay, guys. So what did they manage to do? They squeezed this up into this week's expected market maker move high, and just be very mindful of that right here. We went right into this week's market maker move high. So that was what they predicted this when we came in this week, the best case scenario for the markets. And we know the volumes are relatively light. So we know that one second here. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Sorry about that. So we know we have a lower low in the markets. So our primary thesis should be looking for, but not planning for a lower high. That is our primary thesis because we have a new lower low in the markets in the intermediate time frame. Okay, so that should be our primary thesis. That may or may not be the case uh, to do that. So basically, what we did with the markets, we came up, we got the extreme expected move for the week, feel inside the fair value gap of the FOMC sell-off. Okay, we have not completed that fair value gap. So the odds still favor that they're going to support the markets and complete this upside gap. And our Andrews pitchfork suggests that we may not have quite completed this upside pattern as well. So be mindful of that. Okay, we don't have to go any higher, but we could very well be supported in today's session. Okay. Other things to think about here, we are above all of our weekly anchored view apps. So if you anchor every Sunday open, we are above all of them, all of the anchored view apps. We are above. So it's all bullish on the anchored view apps front. So this to me looks like more like the volumes are so light that the market makers can come in here and shove prices back down and make sure that they get paid uh, at these extreme reads. Okay, for the week. Okay, so just be mindful of that. That's some things I'm looking at here in the markets. Uh, so, and if you do basically a say this is an inverse head and shoulders down here, that would take us all the way up here to finish out the fair value gap on SPY. Okay. Okay. 1 second here. Qs. Okay, guys. Qs, things going on here. This is our fair value gap that hasn't completely completed yet. Okay. Where's my market maker move high? 1 second here. I might have to draw that in there. I thought I did that already. Okay, guys, there we go. So right here is our market maker move high. So we overshot our expected move for the week. This morning we're rolling back down inside of that expected move for the week. And we have technically overshot uh, our expected upside target as well on the Qs. So basically, several things here on the Qs seem to overshot the pattern. So that's even potentially giving us an even more bullish scenario. Everybody and their brother came in and checked their Tuesday, and uh, I had this marked out in my live session. Most of the session there Friday, I had this marked out right here, my target for the day, and wouldn't you know it, we got it with some change in the markets. So heads up on that. We are above all the weekly anchored view apps on the Qs as well. We filled a much bigger percentage of the fair value gap on the Qs. Okay. Final one here. Sorry about that, guys. We have a gap above us that's holding very firm here on the Russell. So, in my opinion, there hasn't been any rotation in the Russell this week. We're finishing, this week out. In my opinion, today is probably not a good day to be trying to buy the dip in this beast. Okay, it's a bearish pattern. We're coming off of a lower low. Okay, uh, we have a higher low, a higher high in technically. So this is really acting poorly. Okay, this is really acting very poorly here in the markets. Haven't even got up to the expected market maker move high for the week. I'm looking for us to get up there. Just because I'm looking for it does not mean we're going to get it. Okay, very dangerous pattern. This one here, on the other hand, is below several weeks, 2 weeks worth of anchored VWAPs. We're still below that. Okay, we are above the current week. Okay, that's all I can say. Okay, but still a lot. We got overhead resistance on the Russell, and this is acting very troubling for the markets. One of the core things I always look at in the morning is how are the 10-year bonds doing? We're right still down here at the lows. Okay, we're just not getting any type of love so far in the bond market. So that's going to drag down on the Russell. So, and that is a concern that we have to be very mindful. Okay, so we are hovering around 4.6% on the T-bills. Okay, so uh, be very mindful of that. Above 4.5, it's weighs heavily on the Russell. Okay, and so be very mindful of that. And in general, it can we start coding prices on the bonds over for the 4.5. It actually adds a lot more danger even to the tech side. So be very mindful of that in your trading here. Okay, guys. Other things I wanted to point out though, as far as patterns go, Apple. Okay, guys, we're above all the anchored VWAPs. Okay, had a very strong move up in the markets there Friday. Uh, so be very mindful. Ultimately, about 285 is the upside target. So, or around 285, that puts us at the 4 trillion mark on Apple. So it's a very bullish pattern here on Apple. We've got to be very mindful of that. And we have cleared all the, this here was the FOMC sell-off, and we're just blown way past that. Apple is just a beast. Other things that are happening here, Microsoft's not doing the same. We still got the FOMC fair value gap above us here on that. We have not even broken out of the first, so this is giving us relative weakness. Okay, suggesting this could actually be a potential bear flag pattern currently. So you just want to wait until we get acceptance back into this above this prior high before you actually want to try to the long side on that one. A lot of overhead resistance, even with the anchored VWAPs on that one. AMD has been very good this week. Okay, we have completed as of Friday. We have completed, or as of Tuesday, we have completed the fair value gap fill. Okay, so this is they got us to come up here, and we did complete that upside cycle here, and so be very mindful of that. And how it's trading in relation to the anchored VWAPs. Okay. NVIDIA was a beast there Tuesday. We're above the FOMC fair value gap down, showing some relative strength the past couple of days here in NVIDIA. We are above our most recent anchored VWAPs. Okay, there are some more. So I think so. I have to look real quick. Is that Ulta? Yeah. So we got more. We got a lot of inventory back here. That so we have more anchored VWAPs above us. Okay, so be very mindful of that. Double check that. Okay. Okay. So I'm just keeping a really close eye on this. That's another one showing some relative strength here. Tesla. Tesla has been a beast. Okay. This here we are holding this range right here so far this morning. Above 458.70, you have to stay net long. If we start losing 458.70, then the bears might be coming to the party here. We did have a lower high so far in this pattern, so be mindful of that. Very bullish pattern here, especially in relation to the anchored VWAPs. Still a very bullish pattern, and that would be a very aggressive short, trying to stay, uh, trying to short above the 450, below 458. So that would be a very aggressive short, and be mindful of that if you do try to take that. Okay. Google, very bullish pattern above all the anchored VWAPs on Google. We're near all-time highs here. Okay. Uh, so be very mindful. Still a lower high, and we have filled the fair value gap. So a lot of these tech names have filled through the fair value gap, and they're coming back testing that fair value gap uh, completion. So that's what I'm seeing this morning. We want to see these areas, these highs up here hold to completely dismiss the fair value gap as being just noise. Okay, so that's what we want to see if you're going to be a bull in this market. Okay, Meta. Uh, so we were Friday. We closed right at our last anchored VWAP high area, and we're currently this morning trading a little bit below that. So be mindful of that. We do not have a confirmed breakout. We have not completed the fair value gap on that one either. So be mindful of that. So this morning, Netflix is the beast above all fair value anchored view apps. Uh, way above the fair value gap. Just a total beast. Nothing here suggests to get overly short, in my opinion. Amazon, beast above all the anchored view apps. Just a real strong beast here. We did complete the fair value gap. So we have completed the fair value gap on that as well. So I get a little concerned when we've completed all these fair value gaps. That was a very strong pattern to look for. And now that we're seeing that in Megatech, we have to be careful. Okay. So that's just a few things I'm looking at this morning. Uh, but like I said, we're seeing a little bit of weakness early on. Some, uh, you know, uh, market makers know that uh, you know, uh, they don't they have control in this light volume environment. So the idea of breaking above the market maker move high, it's very relatively simple for the market makers to push prices back down and keep prices contained with inside the trading range in a low volume week. So be very mindful of that. You can blow up your accounts if you're trading, into against the market makers in a week like this. So so be very mindful of that in your trading today. Uh, Ultimately, though, I would much rather look back to all-time highs to close out the year uh, than to try to be overly short this market. So just be very mindful of that scenario. Okay. Thanks a lot, and I will see you trading.